Hello students, myself Dr. B. Sridhar, Professor, Department of ECE, MLR Institute of Technology, Hyderabad. Now we are going to discuss about elements of optical fiber communication system. So let us see the content. Before that, we see about the conventional communication system and next optical fiber communications and advantages and drawbacks of fiber system, applications of optical fiber communication system. Next we can see the structure. Finally we come to the elements of optical fiber communication system. Now communication. Now what is meant by communication? The communication is nothing but a transfer of data from one place to another place. It's nothing but a communication. So simply you can say to transmit a signal from source to destination. So communication required. Nowadays without communication no world. So communication plays a very important role in the multimedia world. Now you see the diagram. So here let us see here the transmitter, so we can transmit the data. Now here the medium, so the medium may be the wire medium or wireless medium. So here from that the information may be transmitted. So through the antenna, so we can get the signal. So finally we can achieve the communications. So here we have so many parameters out there for enhance the communications, and next we can identify the parameters. So how the communication is done effectively. So many parameters are there. Now next, what is a system model, a communication system model? A model, so which exchange the data from one point to another point. That system or a model is said to be a communication system model. Now in the communication system model, so we have some basic components, the information source, and next a modulation, a transmitter, a channel, and the receiver. So these are the basic blocks present in the conventional communication system. Now one of the main thing in communication system is modulation. So because generally our voice frequency is very low frequency, so we can add the high carrier frequency to carry our voice signal. So the modulation plays a very important role in the conventional communication system. Let us see the drawbacks of communication system. The first drawback is noise. The noise is easily interfere in the communication system. Where it interferes? In the communication channel, the noise is easily interfere, then it destroys the system. So generally a noise we can describe as a signal which disturbs the communication is called noise. It's an unwanted signal. So what will happen if the unwanted signal can merge with our data? So it will destroy the signal. Finally what will happen? The signal to noise ratio will decrease. So what's the signal to noise ratio? The ratio of the signal power by noise power is nothing but the signal to noise ratio. So always the signal quantity, if you see the numerator is signal, denominator is noise. So if always a signal should be dominated more. If the denominator is less, then only the overall performance should be high. Sometimes what will happen, the signal is less, the quantity of the signal, the power of the signal is less, the noise power is more. Then what will happen? Entire communication is disturbed. So totally it degraded the signal. So one of the drawback in the communication system is noise. Second one, high power consumption. As I said earlier, so modulation, so we need carrier. So but in carrier consumes more power. So here the carrier which consumes the more power. because high frequency carrier which occupies more, so it consumes more, then what will happen? So the signal power is less, so carrier power will be more. This is one of the major drawback in the conventional communication system. So if you see in the AM system, so here we can use 33% for message, so remaining 67 we are using for carrier. So 1/3 of the carrier power it consumes, 1/3 of the power it consumes. So that's why, so it's one of the drawback of conventional communication system. Now you can see the third one, the limited amount of the multiplexing of channel. So what is this one? So we are using the modulation. So in the modulation, so here we can transmit with the help of a different carrier band, so we can transmit the multiple signals, but that also limited case. So it is a major drawback in the conventional communication system. So these are the three major drawbacks present in the conventional communication system. Next one, let us see the optical fiber communication system. Now, what is this optical fiber communication system? The conventional system, so we are transmitting electrical signal. We are transmitting an electrical signal. But in the optical fiber communication system, so we are converting the light signal, we are converting the electrical signal into the optical signal, that is nothing but the light. So why it is required? Once we convert the electrical to light, the speed is high. The speed is high. So we know that the speed of light is 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. So the amount of information, the transmission rate is more while convert electrical signal into a light signal, the optical signal. That's why you can prefer the optical fiber communication system. The same, but here in the data we are converting electrical to optical. So after that we are transmit this light signal through the optical fiber. Hence we call it's a optical fiber communication system. So here if you see the optical fiber, so majorly it has the core, cladding and a buffer coating. So these are the major structure of the optical fiber. So let us consider the light signal. So now here also electromagnetic carrier signal, the light which forms an electromagnetic carrier, so which is modulated to carry the information, modulated to carry the information. Now let us see the advantages. So what are the advantages behind optical fiber communication system? Less expensive. So the optical fiber is very less expensive. So it is, that's why you can go for this optical fiber communication system. So next one, transmission loss is very low, because in conventional system, so due to the noise interference, so the loss is more, but here the loss is very less in compared to the conventional communication system. So that's why you can go for this optical fiber communication system. So we see the next point, signal degradation. So this point and this point is closely correlated, matching. So the quality of the signal is not degraded much more in optical fiber communication system. That's why you can prefer optical fiber system. So next one, security. It's one of the important point. So in conventional system, so here a third party can easily hack the information, can tap the information, but in optical fiber the security is high compared to the conventional system. Next one, no crosstalk. So if you observe in the TV, so we will get the one channel behind another channel. So because of the mixture problem, but here there is no crosstalk in the data, because each and every data carry a separate fiber, so there is no chance of the crosstalk. Fine. Next one, here this system is more flexible. Optical fiber system is more flexible. So these are the advantages behind optical fiber communication system. Let us see some of the drawbacks present in the optical fiber communication system. Even though it is a very less expensive, but initial installation cost is high. Well, setup, the cost is very high. So that is one of the drawback present in the optical fiber communication system. Drawbacks of optical fiber communication system. Even though the fiber cost is less, but installation cost is high. Installation cost is high in the optical transmitter as well as the receiver. So this is one of the major drawbacks of this optical fiber communication system. So now, we are transmitting a light signal through the optical fiber. So it may be manufactured. So either it may be length of the fiber, it may be the 50 meter or 25 meter. So we can't able to achieve the kilometers of communication. So surely we need to join a fiber. Surely we need to join a fiber. The joining of two fiber is nothing but the splicing technique. The splicing technique in the sense, so here, so fiber 1 and fiber 2, so we have to join these two. So if you join these two fiber, then what will happen? The signal, the propagate in the first fiber will enter into the second fiber. This is nothing but the joining of two fiber. Okay, so it may be the permanently or semi-permanently. So what will happen? So if a communication is set up between the two fiber, so because of the mismatch of this core and cladding, so some of the information may be scattered out or emitted out. This is one of the drawback present in the optical fiber system. We will come to the third one. The same, the second point and third point as more or less same, because so here we have the connectors. Sometimes we are using the connectors and splices. Okay, so the splices, so which join the two fiber permanently, semi-permanently. The connectors temporarily are connecting the two fibers. So if what will happen, the fiber 1 connector and fiber 2 connector mismatch, again same problem will occur. The information may be scattered out. So more power will be losses. So these are the major drawbacks present in the optical fiber communication system. Now let us see the applications. So where we are using this optical fiber communication system. Now here the telephonic system we are using this optical fiber communication system, and here we are achieve the optical fiber communication system under the sea, that is which is used in the submarine cable network. So we can achieve we can establish the network, communication network under the sea. So this is one of the important point in optical fiber communication system. And come to the next one, surveillance camera. So nowadays we are using surveillance camera in other places. So in all the surveillance camera we are using this optical fiber communication system. Optical fiber. Next one, we will come to the structure. So the structure of this optical fiber. Now as I said earlier, so main part of the optical fiber is core. Here only the light signal is propagated. So surrounded by the core we have the cladding material, so which support the core. So we have some layers of structure, but the initial one here, the core, the light signal is propagated. So supported material is cladding. So next one is buffer coating. So these three are the major structure of a fiber. Along with that, we have some strength member and outer jacket. So this color coding say will give either it's a single mode fiber or multi-mode fiber. So sometimes you have a yellow color, sometimes you have the orange color, sometimes you have the blue color. So this color coding which indicates the fiber may be the single mode or multi-mode. So now here the major point in the optical fiber, the refractive index. The refractive index of the core is always high. So we can represent the refractive index of the core is N1. Refractive of the core is N1 and the refractive index of the cladding is N2. Always the refractive index of the core is high. So why this refractive index of the core is high in the sense, so here we can achieve the total internal reflection. If we achieve total internal reflection, what will happen? Our light signal will not scatter out from core to cladding. So we should maintain always the refractive index of the core should be high than cladding. It's one of the important point in optical fiber communication system. Now let us see the elements, the communication setup of optical fiber system. Major elements in conventional system, we have the information source, and next we have the modulator. There we are merging the carrier signal. Next the transmitter, channel, again demodulator, receiver. So same case here. Let us come to the elements of this optical fiber system. Initially here I can start with the input electrical signal. As I said, our voice signal is non-electrical quantity. So here our voice signal is non-electrical quantity. So what will happen? So this non-electrical quantity, generally our voice signal doesn't have any electrical quantity. So by using the transducer, so we are converting the non-electrical into electrical quantity. Why is electrical quantity required? Then only you can go for amplification and modulation, transmission, everything will be possible once we convert our non-electrical into electrical. So transducer plays a very important role to convert the non-electrical into electrical. So initially I can start with electrical input signal. So before that, transducer is the one which can be convert our non-electrical to electrical. But here in these elements, the first step is electrical input signal. Now we are using some drive circuit, is nothing but the amplification circuit, so which gives gains to the data or electrical data. So generally we are using some drive circuits in the communication system, so which gives some gain. So next one, light source. Here only very important point in the transmitter side. So what will happen here? The light source, here we are giving this electrical signal to the some laser diode. In the output will give the light. So now here only we are converting the electrical to optical signal, that is a light signal. I am converting my electrical to light. How? Here I am giving supply, electrical supply to the laser. The output I am getting the light source. So the amount of information is directly proportional to the amount of light. So next one, after that, once we convert our electrical signal to light signal, next we are connecting the fiber, optical fibers. So because as I said earlier, the fiber plays a very important role in the optical fiber communication system. So here only through fiber only light signal is propagating. So here we are using the optical fibers. So as I said earlier, so we can establish the optical fiber communication system means we should use a number of connectors, a number of splices, number of connectors and number of splices. So then only you can achieve the communication system. Okay. So now the drive circuit, further you can convert this electrical to light signal, and this after that through the optical fiber our light signal is propagating. So here, as I said earlier, here this is the core surrounded by the cladding, here the light signal is propagating. Fine. Now after that, sometimes we can use the optical coupler, or sometimes you can use some beam splitter, so we can divert the signal. It not mean that here one signal transmit to only that point, so it may transmit to many points also. So we need the beam splitter to split the signal to other direction or other equipment. So beam splitter is required to split the signal. So come to the next point is regenerative repeater. In every communication system, so we have the regenerative repeater which boosts up the signal, which gives a gain the signal. Okay, so which maintain the gain. So that's why we can use regenerative repeaters in the communication system. So in conventional system also we are using, in optical also we are using, so for maintaining the gain. So it's not limited on, here we are using the n number of regenerative repeaters in the optical fiber system. It's not only one, okay, it's not limited one, so we can use n number of regenerative repeaters in the communication system to achieve the communication. Fine. Next one, here we are using some optical amplifier. So pumping, the pumping of light signal. The conventional amplifier is different, this optical amplifier is different. Here you can pumping of this light, so to maintain a high gain. Here you can use some optical amplifiers. So finally at the end, receiver end, so here we have the photodetector. The photodetector is the one, again the reverse process. Here we are converting the electrical to optical and the transmitter. Here we are again optical to electrical. Optical to electrical, because input is electrical, so compulsorily we required only electrical only. In between we are converting this process, light to electrical to light, and again light to electrical. Okay, so here this photodetector is the one which will convert this light signal into electrical output. Again you can use a number of amplifiers to gain. Finally a signal restorer will restore the signal, and finally you can get the output. So these are the major blocks of the communication system, optical fiber communication system. One is one of the important thing is light signal transmitter, optical fiber, and directing receiver. These three are the very important components which is present in the optical fiber system. So in addition to that, we are using the splicers and connectors, because to establish the connection, so light transmitter, fiber and photodetector are the three major things. In addition to that, we are using the splicers, connectors, and regenerative repeaters, beam splitters, and optical amplifiers to enhance the quality of the system. So these are the major blocks present in the optical fiber system. Fine. Now we will come to the summary. Now just we discuss about what is mean by communication. Later we discuss about the drawbacks, because a communication system is nothing but a transfer of information. That is one of the advantage only, but the major drawback present in the communication is noise. So this will degrade the communication system. So for that, so we can go for optical fiber communication system. So why you can go for optical fiber communication system? The transmission rate is high because we are converting the electrical to optical, so the transmission rate is high. This is one of the major advantage of optical fiber communication system. Some drawbacks also present in this communication system is like installation cost, splicing, some connectivity problem, some drawbacks are present, but major advantages are there in this optical fiber communication system. Also we discuss about the elements of system. So in the elements, so major things are light source, fiber and the photo detector. So these are the major components in the optical fiber communication system. In supporting that, we are using some splices and connectors to establish the connection. Thank you.